Rain, hammering concrete. Thunder crashes through Seoul's darkness.
엄마, 어디에요? Mommy, where are you?
거기 있어. 움직이지 마. There she is. Don't move. Hey, what are you running from, baby?
Bad men. They take my mama. I run.
Bad men? Where? Men's voices, shouting in Korean, getting closer. Come, now.
Softer. What's your name, sweetheart? Min-seo. Beautiful name. I'm Faith. Those men? They're not touching you. Not tonight. Not ever.
For 3 days, Faith became everything. Mother, protector, teacher, shelter. Day 3, morning sunlight, an auto repair shop. Faith working, Min-seo learning. Hands me that wrench, Min-seo. This one? Perfect. You're a natural princess. Then, everything changed. Car engines, multiple, expensive. Doors slamming. Footsteps, many footsteps. You, the woman under the car. Yeah? Need something fixed? Where is my daughter? And in that moment, Faith realized she'd saved the wrong child. Or perhaps exactly the right one. Welcome to Afro-Korean Real Tales TV, where love doesn't ask permission and happy endings are earned in fire, not given in fairy tales. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what you're about to witness, it's not your typical love story. This is Faith's story, the homeless mechanic who saved a little girl and accidentally claimed the heart of a man who doesn't know how to let go. Now, let's dive in. Faith Charles stood in the entryway of a palace disguised as a home. Marble floors stretched endlessly, polished so perfectly she could see her reflection mocking her, cargo pants sagging on her curvy hips, tank top clinging to her full breasts, oil smudges decorating her dark brown skin like war paint. Her natural hair was pulled into a high puff, edges wild and untamed, work boots scuffed and worn. She was breathtaking in the way real women are, strong, raw, unapologetically herself. And she had never felt more out of place. Miss Charles, the butler, because of course there was a butler, gestured toward a spiraling staircase. Mr. Choi has prepared the west wing for you. The whole wing? He insists. Of course he does. Min-seo's tiny hand slipped into hers, warm and trusting. Faith Annie, come see. My room has a castle bed. Faith looked down at this child who'd attached herself like a barnacle, and her heart did something dangerous. It softened. Lead the way, princess. West Wing Guest Suite. Evening. The room was obscene. King bed draped in silk, walk-in closet already stocked with clothes, her exact size, how, ranging from casual to evening gowns, marble bathroom with a tub large enough to swim laps, floor-to-ceiling windows framing Seoul's skyline like a painting. A knock, controlled, deliberate. She turned. Choi Sun-min filled the doorway and the air shifted. He'd changed. Black dress shirt, sleeves rolled to expose forearms that were lean and corded with muscle. Top 2 buttons undone, revealing the hollow of his throat. His face was carved from marble. Sharp jaw, high cheekbones, full lips that looked almost cruel. His eyes were dark, endless, the kind that stripped you bare without touching you. His natural hair was styled with casual perfection like he'd just run his fingers through it. He was devastating, dangerous, and he knew it. Comfortable? His voice was smoke and whiskey, smooth and burning. Your butler said I'd be working, fixing cars. That's the deal, right? Among other things. He stepped inside, and the room shrank. What other things? Min-seo needs consistency, someone who won't abandon her when convenient. His eyes held hers, predatory and patient. You've already proven you're that person. So I'm a nanny now? You're whatever I need you to be. The possessiveness was wrapped in silk, but it was there. Faith's pulse spiked. I'm not your employee. I'm not your thing you get to assign roles to. He moved closer, each step calculated, controlled, like an apex predator closing distance. Then what are you, Faith? The way he said her name, slowly, deliberately, like tasting wine, made heat coil low in her belly. She held her ground even though her heart was a war drum. A woman who did you a favor, nothing more. A favor? His smile was beautiful and terrifying. You saved the most precious thing in my world. That's not a favor. That's a debt I can never repay. Then don't. Let me go. No. Simple. Final. Absolute. You can't just keep me here. Can I? He tilted his head, studying her like art. His gaze traveled, not lewdly, but thoroughly, memorizing her face, the defiant set of her shoulders, her clenched fists. You have no visa, no job, no home, no money. Where exactly will you go, Faith? Back to cardboard shelters, fixing cars for pocket change? She hated that he was right. I'll figure it out. Not in Seoul, you won't. He leaned against her dresser, casual elegance incarnate, but his eyes never left hers. I own this city. Every garage, every shop, every business that might hire an illegal foreign mechanic. His voice dropped, intimate. You're free to leave any time, but you'll be deported within 48 hours, and Min-seo will cry. A lot. That's manipulation. That's reality. Faith's hands trembled with rage. Why are you doing this? Because you're useful. Liar. She stepped toward him, surprising herself. You've got armies of employees. You don't need me. Something vulnerable flickered in his eyes, gone in a heartbeat, but she saw it. Maybe I don't need you, he admitted, voice like velvet over steel. Maybe I just want you here. The air crackled. Why? Choi Sun-men pushed off the dresser, stalked toward her, stopped close enough she could smell his cologne, dark, expensive, intoxicating. Because, he said quietly, voice raw, my daughter hasn't smiled in 6 months, not since her mother died, and in 3 days with you, she smiled 23 times. I counted. Faith's breath caught. Because you gave her your food when you were starving. His hand lifted, slowly, giving her time to retreat, and tucked a coil of her natural hair behind her ear. His fingers grazed her skin. The touch burned. His touch was reverent, gentle, at odds with the dangerous man she knew he was. I don't know what I see when I look at you. Good. That makes 2 of us. He dropped his hand, stepped back. The air rushed in. Stay, he said. And it wasn't a command, it was almost a plea. Because she needs you, and maybe, his eyes held hers, vulnerable, maybe I do too. Then he was gone. Faith stood there, skin tingling where he'd touched her, heart racing. What just happened? Sun-min kept his word with ruthless efficiency. Within 3 days, official papers appeared. Work visa, alien registration card, permits, all legitimate. And a job, head mechanic for his private collection, 40 vintage cars worth fortunes, housed in a garage that looked like a museum. You're serious, Faith breathed. You said you were the best. He stood in the doorway, immaculate in a charcoal 3-piece suit. Prove it. She did. Rebuilt a 1967 Shelby engine in 2 days, hands moving with surgical precision. Fixed a temperamental Lamborghini 3 mechanics had declared dead, made a vintage Porsche sing. And Sun-min watched. He would appear, silent, sudden, lean against the doorframe, arms crossed, and just observe. His gaze was intense, focused, like he was memorizing her. It should have been uncomfortable. Instead, it made her hyper-aware of her tank top clinging to her curves when she bent over engines, of her muscles flexing when she worked, of the concentration furrowing her brow. Why do you stare like that? She asked one afternoon, not looking up from her carburetor. Like what? Like I'm a car you're trying to figure out how to dismantle. Maybe you are. Something dark and promising laced his tone. She threw an oily rag at him. He caught it effortlessly. When she looked up, he was smiling, small, genuine, devastating. Her heart stuttered. "You're terrifying when you smile," she muttered, returning to work to hide her reaction. "Good." His voice was closer. She glanced up. He stood right beside her workbench. "I'd hate to be predictable." Electricity hummed between them, the kind that made skin prickle and breath shallow. "You should go," she said, not meeting his eyes. "I work better alone." Liar. But he left, that smile still haunting his lips. Min-seo started calling her Faith Uma, mother. Faith corrected her every time. Min-seo ignored her every time. Dinners became routine, 3 of them at a table built for 20, Sun Men at the head in perfect suits, Min-seo chattering, Faith trying desperately not to notice how Sun Min's eyes lingered. "You don't eat enough," he observed one evening. "I'm fine." "You gave half your portion to Min-seo." "She's growing." "So are you recovering from starvation?" Not a question. His eyes tracked everything. "Eat." When she didn't immediately comply, he did something that stole her breath, physically transferred food from his plate to hers, movements elegant and precise. "I can feed myself," Faith protested, heat rising in her cheeks. "How would you even—" She stopped. "Are you watching me?" Always. No hesitation, no apology, just devastating honesty. The admission should have terrified her. Instead, warmth unfurled in her chest. Late night. Faith was in the garage working on a 1969 Chevelle when Sun Min appeared with coffee. He moved like smoke, silent, fluid. Tonight he wore casual clothes, dark slacks, white dress shirt, sleeves rolled, top buttons undone. He looked almost human, dangerously beautiful. "You don't sleep," he observed, handing her a cup. "Neither do you." She took it. Their fingers brushed, electric. "Must be lonely." "It is, until recently." Her heart stuttered. "Sun Min, why did you really keep me here? Truth, not the version you tell yourself." He was quiet, then sat on her workbench, close enough she felt his body heat. "Because when I found you with Min-seo, covered in grease and rain, giving her everything you had, you looked at me like I was the monster." Faith's hands stilled. "Not because of my reputation, but because I'd let my daughter get lost. I'd been so busy protecting her from my world that I forgot to actually be there." His jaw tightened. "You were right. I was failing her. And you," he shook his head, "you, with nothing, gave her everything." "I'm not some moral compass." "No." His hand reached out, fingers trailing her jaw. "You're just real. Everyone around me wears masks. You don't. You're exactly who you are. Do you know how rare that is? How intoxicating?" His thumb traced her lower lip. She couldn't breathe. "I scare me." "Good." His eyes darkened. "You should be scared. I'm not a good man, Faith. I've done terrible things. Will do terrible things again." "Then why—" "Why do you what?" His hand cupped her face. "Feel safe with you. Feel seen. Feel like I'm falling." "Nothing." "Liar." He stood. Suddenly she was trapped between his body and the car. "Say it." "No." "Why?" "Because if I say it, it becomes real. And if it's real, I can't leave." "Why do you need to leave?" "Because men like you don't keep women like me." Pain flashed in his eyes. "I would never." "Wouldn't you? You trapped me, gave me papers that bind me to you. Your daughter calls me mother." Her voice cracked. "I've been used before. I can't." "I'm not using you." His hands framed her face. "I'm falling for you." The world stopped. "Don't." Too late. His forehead pressed to hers. "I've been falling since you looked at me with judgment and held my daughter with compassion. Since you challenged me, refused to be impressed by power or intimidated by reputation. Since you made Min-seo feel safe. Sun Min." "Tell me to stop." His lips hovered over hers. "Tell me you don't feel this, and I'll walk away. Tell me." She should. But different words came out. I can't. Can't what? Can't tell you to stop. Can't pretend I don't feel this. Can't. He kissed her, and the world caught fire. Faith woke to silk sheets and the terrifying realization that everything had changed. The kiss had been devastating. Sun Min had kissed her like a man starved, like she was oxygen and he'd been drowning. His hands had been everywhere, her face, her waist, tangled in her hair, but always controlled, always giving her space to retreat. She hadn't retreated. They'd kissed until her lips were swollen and her body trembling, until he'd pressed his forehead to hers and whispered, "Not like this. Not in a garage. You deserve better." Then he'd left her there, aching and confused. Now, staring at her reflection, lips still swollen, eyes bright with something she refused to name, she knew she was in trouble. Deep, dangerous trouble. The dining room felt like a battlefield. Sun Min sat at the head in a navy suit that made him look carved from ice. His dark eyes tracked her entrance, the way her yellow sundress hugged her curves, the way her natural hair was twisted into an elegant updo, the way she bit her lip nervously. "Good morning, Faith Amma," Min-seo chirped, already attacking pancakes. "Morning, Princess." Faith's voice was steadier than she felt. "Miss Charles." Sun Min's voice was smooth, controlled, like last night hadn't happened. "Sleep well?" "Fine." She sat, not looking at him. "You're a terrible liar." Her eyes snapped to his. He was smiling, that small, devastating smile. "I slept fine," she insisted. "You were up at 3 a.m. I heard you pacing." His eyes held hers. "Thinking about something?" The air crackled. Min-seo, oblivious, continued chattering. "Nothing important," Faith managed. "Liar." His voice dropped, intimate despite Min-seo's presence. "You were thinking about me." Her cheeks heated. "You're arrogant." "I'm observant." He sipped coffee, eyes never leaving hers. "I know you, Faith, better than you think. You don't know anything about me. I know you take your coffee with 2 sugars and cream. I know you hum when you work. I know you touch your hair when nervous, like now. I know you cry when you think no one's watching. I know you're terrified of vulnerability, because the last time you trusted someone, they destroyed you." She couldn't breathe. He'd seen everything. "I know," he continued, voice softening, "that you kissed me back last night, and I know you're scared. But Faith," he leaned forward slightly, "I'm scared too, and I'm still choosing this, choosing you." That afternoon, a woman arrived, elegant, Korean, beautiful in that cold, polished way, designer clothes, perfect makeup. She swept in like she owned the place. "Sun Min Oppa." Her voice was high, possessive. Watched from the garage as Sun Min greeted her, formal, distant. But the woman, Jin, Faith learned, touched his arm, laughed too loud, stood too close. Something hot and ugly twisted in Faith's chest. "You have no right to be jealous. He's not yours." But the kiss said otherwise. Jin noticed her. "Who's that?" "My daughter's caretaker and my mechanic." Sun Min's voice was ice. It shouldn't have hurt, but it did. Jin laughed. "How charitable. Hiring strays now?" Sun Min's expression went arctic. "Watch your words." "I'm just saying, she's very different from your usual type." "My usual type," Sun Min said, quietly, dangerously, "bores me. Faith doesn't." Faith's heart stumbled. Jin left 30 minutes later, fury radiating. Sun Min walked straight to the garage. "You're angry," he observed. "I'm not. You're gripping that wrench like you want to throw it." "Maybe I do." He stepped closer. "She means nothing." "I don't care." "Liar." He took the wrench, set it down, then cupped her face. "I haven't looked at another woman since you walked into my life. Haven't wanted to."
Hyjin was a business arrangement my father set up years ago. I've declined repeatedly. Nothing's changed. You called me your employee. I called you my daughter's caretaker and my mechanic, both true. What I didn't say, what I'll never say in front of vultures like her, is that you're mine. That's between us. His thumb traced her lips. You're jealous. I'm not. You are, and God help me, I love it. I love that you care enough to be jealous, that you want me enough to be angry. Sun Men. Tell me you're mine, he commanded softly. I'm not anyone's. Liar. His lips hovered over hers. Tell me. This is insane. Tell me. She broke. I'm yours. Heaven help me, I'm yours. He kissed her, deep, claiming, possessive. When he pulled back, his eyes were dark with desire. And I'm yours, Faith, completely, irrevocably, terrifyingly yours. That night, everything shattered. Faith woke to screaming, Min-seo's screaming. She ran, barefoot in pajamas, to the child's room. Sun Min was already there, holding his daughter, face carved from stone. What happened? Nightmare. His voice was tight, but his hands shook holding Min-seo. Bad men came back. They took Faith hurt her like they hurt Mommy. Faith's heart broke. She climbed onto the bed, gathering them both close. I'm right here, baby. See? Min-seo clung to her. Eventually, she fell asleep between them. Sun Min's eyes met Faith's over his daughter's head. Dark, haunted. My wife, he said quietly, was killed because of me, because of my world. Men I'd crossed took her, tortured her, left her body where I'd find it. Faith's breath caught.
Min-seo saw some of it before I got there. She's had nightmares for 6 months. Tonight was the first time you were in them. Sun Min, she started to love you, depend on you, and now she's terrified of losing you the same way. His jaw tightened. I told myself I wouldn't do this again, wouldn't let someone close enough to become a target, but I was too selfish to stay away. You're not selfish. I am, because I know my enemies will notice you, will see how I look at you, and they'll come for you like they came for her, but I still can't let you go. Faith reached across Min-seo, taking his hand. Then don't. We'll face it together. You don't understand what you're agreeing to. I understand you're scared. I understand your world is dangerous. I understand loving you might get me killed. She squeezed his hand. I'm choosing it anyway. Why? Because living without you sounds worse than dying. His eyes closed. When they opened, they were wet. I love you. I shouldn't. It's too fast, too dangerous, too insane. But I love you, Faith Charles. I love you too. God help us both. It came 2 days later. Faith was in the garage when she heard gunfire. Close. Too close. Alarm screamed. Men shouted in Korean. More gunfire. The garage door exploded inward. 3 men, armed. One grabbed her before she could scream. Pretty, he said in accented English. Sun Min's new toy. Perfect. She fought, used every dirty trick from Lagos streets, but they were trained. One hit her, hard. Everything went black. She woke in darkness, zip ties cutting into wrists, concrete floor freezing beneath her. Voices nearby, Korean, then English. Choi Sun Min loves this one. Use her, draw him out, kill them both. Terror turned her blood to ice. Then chaos, gunfire, screaming, the door exploding inward. Sun Min. He moved through the room like death incarnate, efficient, brutal, precise. Men fell, blood splattered. Then he was kneeling beside her, cutting her restraints, hands gentle despite the violence still echoing. Faith! God, Faith, are you hurt? Did they... I'm okay. He pulled her against him, body shaking. I thought I'd lost you. I thought... I'm here. He kissed her, desperate, claiming, you're mine, mine to protect, mine to keep safe, mine. Yours, she agreed, always yours. In the car, Sunmin's phone buzzed. He looked at the message. His face went white. What? Faith asked. They have proof. Photos of us together. They're threatening to release them publicly, paint you as my weakness. His jaw tightened. I have to choose, your safety or my reputation. If I acknowledge you publicly, every enemy I have will target you. If I hide you, they'll see you as disposable. What do we do? He looked at her, love and terror warring in his eyes. We change the rules. Tomorrow, the whole world learns you're mine, my woman, my future, untouchable. That makes me a target. That makes you a queen, and anyone who threatens a queen dies screaming. The next morning, Sunmin held a press conference. Every major Seoul outlet, cameras everywhere. Faith stood backstage, heart hammering. She wore an emerald dress Sunmin had chosen. Elegant, expensive, perfect. Her hair was styled professionally, makeup flawless. She looked like she belonged in his world. She felt like an imposter. Ready? Sunmin appeared, devastating in a black suit. His hand found hers, warm and steady. No? Good. Neither am I. He lifted her hand, pressed a kiss to her knuckles. But we're doing this anyway, together. He led her onto the stage. Flashes exploded. Voices shouted questions in Korean. Sunmin raised one hand. Silence fell instantly. I've called this conference to introduce someone important. This is Faith Charles. She saved my daughter's life. She's become part of our family, and as of today, she's under my complete protection. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. What does that mean, Mr. Choi? A reporter shouted. Sunmin's arm wrapped around Faith, possessive, public, unmistakable. It means she's mine, my woman, my future wife, and anyone who threatens her answers to me personally. The room erupted. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted questions, but Sunmin just stood there, holding her close, his message crystal clear. Touch her and die.
You just painted a target on my back, Faith said later in the car. I painted a crown on your head. Sunmin's fingers threaded through hers. There's a difference. Before, you were a secret, a weakness. Now, you're my declared queen, untouchable, sacred. Or a challenge. Let them try. His voice was ice. I've been merciful lately. Let them give me a reason not to be. She stared at their joined hands, his pale skin against her dark brown. Contrasts, contradictions, somehow perfect. I love you, she said quietly. Even though you're terrifying, even though your world is violence, even though I should run, I love you. I love you, he replied, thumb tracing circles on her palm. Even though you're stubborn, even though you challenge me, even though loving you is the most dangerous thing I've ever done, I love you. What happens now? Now? He smiled that cold, beautiful smile. Now we get married. Publicly, traditionally, make it binding in every way that matters, make you legally untouchable. That's not a proposal, that's a command. You're right. He shifted, pulling something from his pocket. A ring box. He opened it. The diamond was massive, blood red, surrounded by smaller stones. Faith Charles, marry me. Not because I'm commanding you, not because you're trapped, but because I love you, because you make me want to be better, because my daughter lights up when you walk into a room, because I can't imagine my life without you in it. Tears burned her eyes. You're a criminal, a killer, a monster by most definitions. I am. You've trapped me in your world, given me no real choice. I have. You're possessive, controlling, dangerous. All true. And I'm saying yes anyway, because I love you, because Min-seo needs a mother, because you look at me like I'm precious, because despite everything, I trust you. She held out her hand. He slid the ring on. Perfect fit. How did you... I've known your ring size since week 1. I've been planning this since the moment you kissed me back. Arrogant. Observant. He pulled her into his lap, kissing her deeply. You're mine now, officially, completely,
Forever. Yours, she agreed. Forever. The ceremony fused Korean and Nigerian traditions, hanbok and asoebi, Buddhist rituals and Christian prayers, a collision of their worlds. Min-seo was flower girl, beaming in her hanbok, finally calling Faith Uma without correction. When Sunmin saw Faith in her wedding dress, white with gold Nigerian embroidery, her natural hair crowned with flowers, his eyes went dark with emotion. "You're beautiful," he whispered when she reached him. "You're not so bad yourself." The ceremony was simple. Vows exchanged, rings given. But when the officiant said, "You may kiss your bride," Sunmin kissed her like claiming her soul. Possessive, tender, devastating. "Mine," he whispered against her lips. "Yours," she agreed. "Always." Faith lay in bed, Sunmin's arm wrapped around her waist, his hand splayed possessively over her still flat stomach. "Are you scared?" she asked quietly. Terrified, his breath was warm against her neck. "Now my world nearly killed you twice. Now we're bringing a baby into it." "Our baby." "Our baby," his hand pressed gently. "I'm hiring 30 more security guards, installing new systems, reinforcing everything." "Sunmin." "Yes?" "Breathe. We'll protect them, together, like we protect Min-seo, like we protect each other." He pulled her closer. "I don't deserve you." "Probably not, but you're stuck with me anyway." He laughed, rare, genuine, beautiful. "Best trap I ever walked into." "I was the one who got trapped, remember?" "We trapped each other. Mutual captivity." He kissed her shoulder. "I wouldn't change a single moment. Not even the part where you terrified me with guns?" "Especially that part. You looked magnificent when you were angry." She elbowed him gently. "Impossible man." "You're impossible man." "Mine," she agreed, threading her fingers through his. "Always mine." Outside, Seoul glittered. Inside, the crime lord held his queen, their daughter slept peacefully down the hall, and new life grew between them. It wasn't a fairy tale. It was better. It was real, messy, dangerous, complicated. But it was theirs.
Faith stood in her garage, now Charles Auto Restoration, a legitimate business, teaching Min-seo how to change oil. "Like this, Amma?" Min-seo asked, hands careful. "Perfect, baby, natural." A cry came from the baby monitor, their son, Ji-hoon, awake. Sunmen appeared, holding their son. The sight still stole her breath. This dangerous man cradling their baby with infinite gentleness. "Someone wants his Amma," Sunmin said, eyes soft. She washed her hands, took Ji-hoon, pressed a kiss to Sunmin's jaw. "Thank you." "For what?" "For letting me keep both worlds, the garage and the family, independence and love." "I learned something important, Faith." His hand cupped her face. "Caging you would destroy what I love most about you, your fire, your strength, your independence. So I don't cage you, I protect you. There's a difference." "Took you long enough to figure that out." "I'm a slow learner, but I get there." Min-seo tugged his sleeve. "Appa, can I show you what I learned?" "Of course, princess." As Sunmin crouched beside his daughter, as Ji-hoon cooed in Faith's arms, as Seoul hummed outside, Faith realized something. She'd started with nothing, lost everything, been homeless, desperate, alone. And now, she had everything. Not because a powerful man gave it to her, but because she saved a little girl in the rain, made a choice, stayed, fought, loved a monster until he remembered how to be a man. This wasn't a fairy tale ending. This was a survivor's ending, and it was perfect. Faith saved a little girl. That girl's father claimed her, trapped her, loved her, possessed her, and she claimed him right back. This isn't about being rescued. This is about a woman who rescued herself, and a broken man, and a little girl who needed a mother. This is what happens when a homeless mechanic with nothing meets a crime lord with everything, and they both realize they need each other more than pride. Did you feel that?
That's what real stories do. They make you feel. If this story moved you, if you felt Faith's fear, Sunmin's obsession, Min-seo's hope, then subscribe right now, because we have more stories like this, more love that's messy and complicated and real. Hit like if you believe love doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. Share this with someone who needs to hear that happy endings don't look the same for everyone, but they're still happy. Comment, would you have stayed? Would you have chosen love in a cage, or would you have run? This is Afro-Korean Real Tales TV, where love is never simple, where happy endings are earned, where we tell the stories nobody else has the guts to tell. See you in the next one, and trust me, it's even more dangerous.